Good morning, everyone. God bless you. I was preparing to give a talk about one aspect of my life. However, I would like to share with you something that I just became aware of and lead us in some prayers and possibly have a live message from a master. At times, I do watch programs on YouTube of Alex Jones and PrisonPlanet.com. And I know some people may feel that he is way out there. However, I have verified much of what he has shared with the Ascended Masters directly. Yesterday, there was a very, very important release that was published yesterday, about 39 minutes and 36 seconds long. And it's about the chemtrail flu. And this is something that is diabolical and anti-Christ, anti the light bearers, anti everyone on earth. And it's being propounded by the dark ones, the evil ones, the powers that were. And it is so diabolical that many, many people are getting something that's really not the flu. It's an onset of extreme coughing, problems with the lungs and breathing, upper respiratory, and it can result in pneumonia and even death. The situation that we recently had with our beloved Robert Beasy, I believe, is directly a result of this situation. So I have just sent to our council and to the HUDBuds, which is a term for our staff, a link to this video, and I would like to encourage all of you to watch it as soon as possible, and Kathleen can place that link also on the broadcast page for you to watch, especially beginning at about 5 minutes and 40 seconds. That's where they get into the kind of the gist of this subject. Now, many of us know about chemtrails and about how diabolical they are. However, the powers that were are taking it to another level, introducing the most dastardly and evil of substances in these chemtrails that are meant literally to wipe out much of the life upon earth and to kill off human beings. This is satanic. This is Luciferian. This is very similar to what the Nazis did in their experimentation on people. And in a sense, I'm seeing that the same Nazi type energy of darkness is manifesting through this anomaly that we must all be aware of, make calls on, and of course call to Archangel Michael to reinforce his dispensation and to take other measures, to be very careful when we see chemtrails in the sky, to possibly stay indoors until they've passed over, and to boost our immune system, to watch our diet, and to do everything possible to counteract and prevent the chemicals and the substances they are introducing through these chemtrails to enter our body temples and affect us. This is out and out war on the light bearers and on humanity. And it is so hard to imagine how people can conceive of this and actually outpicture this. It's very startling to one's heart, one's being. So what I'd like to do is make some calls on this subject, and then we'll see what the masters would like to share about it. So we're going to turn now to beloved Hercules call, which is 10.002, Hercules Embrace. And the masters are initiating today a 21-day vigil to counteract this and other plans of the Dark Ones by the giving of at least 9 calls to Beloved Hercules, and you can adjust other calls that we are giving at this time as required in order to get this in each day. This will also help in preparation for our event in California coming up in early May, the first weekend in May in Yosemite. So, Beloved Hercules, embrace 10.002 together. Om Mani Padme Hum. In the name I am that I am, my beloved Holy Christ Buddha Self, and Holy Christ Buddha Selves of all light bearers throughout cosmos, beloved Hercules in Amazonia, the divine director Archangel Michael and Fate, Micah, El Moria, Saint Germain and Portia, Padre Pio, Rosa Light, Charity, Sri and Cusco, Lanello, K17, Kali, the Buddha Mother, and all true messengers of God, all ascended cosmic beings, legions of angels and archangels, Elohim, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of heaven, gnomes, undines, sylphs, and salamanders, I pray for the light of the Elohim to superimpose the God radiance of your beings over the earth, to take command of the atmosphere of this earth, take command of all chemtrails being spewed out by Air Force jets throughout the world, especially in these United States of America. I call for the ratification of Archangel Michael's dispensation for the dissolving of these chemtrails as soon as they are released, and for their preventing, and for the illumination of the pilots and all those responsible for this anomaly to occur so that they may choose to not engage in this diabolical situation on the earth. I call for the ratification of the judgment of those responsible for this diabolical plan of genocide of humanity, and I call to the Great Karmic Board, the 4 and 20 elders, and beloved Alpha and Omega, for action now on the earth, for the absolute dissolution of this diabolical plan, and for the bringing to cosmic justice of all those responsible for it at the highest levels of power, temporal power upon earth. Beloved Hercules, take command of this situation and bring forth God's holy will here and now on the earth together. Hercules, thou Elohim and cosmic blue firelight, seal us now within your aura ever shining bright. Lock the earth in your embrace, protect her every hour. Erase her now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Twin flame pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, now comes the crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Power flows at your command, protecting every soul, energizing all with Virya. Now we reach our goal, directing rays of diamond substance, sealing us in grace. Thank you for your cosmic mastery over time and space. Twin flame pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, now comes the crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Hercules, defender of our right to walk with God, we bow before your presence as you wield blue lightning rod. Lock our souls in your embrace, protect us every hour. Raise us now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Twin flame pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, now comes the crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Hercules, thou Elohim of cosmic blue firelight, seal us now within your aura ever shining bright. Lock the earth in your embrace, protect her every hour. Erase her now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Twin flame pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, now comes the crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Power flows at your command, protecting every soul, energizing all with Virya. Now we reach our goal, directing rays of diamond substance, sealing us in grace. Thank you for your cosmic mastery over time and space. Twin flame pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, now comes the crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Hercules, defender of our right to walk with God, we bow before your presence as you wield blue lightning rod. Lock our souls in your embrace, protect us every hour. Erase us now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Twin flame pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God in cosmic lightning sealed. Hercules, thou Elohim of cosmic blue fire light, seal us now within your aura, ever shining bright. Lock the earth in your embrace, protect her every hour. Raise her now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Twin flame pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God in cosmic lightning sealed. Power flows at your command, protecting every soul. Energizing all with Virya, now we reach our goal. Directing rays of time and substance, sealing us in grace. Thank you for your cosmic mastery over time and space. Twin flame pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God in cosmic lightning sealed. Hercules, defender of our right to walk with God, we bow before your presence as you wield blue lightning rod. Lock our souls in your embrace, protect us every hour. Raise us now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Twin flame pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God in cosmic lightning sealed. Hercules, thou Elohim of cosmic blue fire light, seal us now within your aura, ever shining bright. Lock the earth in your embrace, protect her every hour. Raise her now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Twin flame pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God in cosmic lightning sealed. Power flows at your command, protecting every soul. Energizing all with Virya, now we reach our goal. Directing rays of time and substance, sealing us in grace. Thank you for your cosmic mastery over time and space. Twin flame pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God in cosmic lightning sealed. Hercules, defender of our right to walk with God, we bow before your presence as you wield blue lightning rod. Lock our souls in your embrace, protect us every hour. Raise us now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Twin flame pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God in cosmic lightning sealed. Hercules, our Elohim of cosmic blue fire light, seal us now within your aura, ever shining bright. Lock the earth in your embrace, protect her every hour. Raise her now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Trembling pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Power flows at your command, protecting every soul. Energizing all with Virya, now we reach our goal. Directing rays of time and substance, sealing us in grace. Thank you for your cosmic mastery over time and space. Trembling pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Hercules, defender of our right to walk with God, we bow before your presence as we wield the lightning rod. Lock our souls in your embrace, protect us every hour. Raise us now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Trembling pillars anchor here now deeper than the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Hercules, thou Elohim of cosmic blue by light, seal us now within your aura, ever shining bright. Lock the earth in your embrace, protect her every hour. Raise her now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Trembling pillars anchor here now deeper than the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Power flows at your command, protecting every soul. Energizing all with Virya, now we reach our goal. Directing rays of time and substance, sealing us in grace. Thank you for your cosmic mastery over time and space. Twin pillars anchor here now deeper than the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Hercules, defender of our right to walk with God, we bow before your presence as we wield the lightning rod. Lock our souls in your embrace, protect us every hour. Raise us now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Trembling pillars anchor here now deeper than the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Hercules, thou Elohim of cosmic blood by light, seal us now within your aura, ever shining bright. Lock the earth in your embrace, protect her every hour. Raise her now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Trembling pillars anchor here now deeper than the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Power flows at your command, protecting every soul. Energizing all with Virya, now we reach our goal. Directing rays of diamond substance, sealing us in grace. Thank you for your cosmic mastery over time and space. Trembling pillars anchor here now deeper than the earth, protecting life upon our globe in reverent new birth. Dear Amazonia, no concept crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Hercules, defender of our right to walk with God, we bow before your presence as we wield the lightning rod. Lock our souls in your image, protect us every hour. Raise us now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Finland Mother's anchor here no deeper than the earth, protecting life upon our globe and reverent new birth. Dear Amazonian, a constant crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Hercules, O Elohim of cosmic blue fire light, seal us now within your aura ever shining bright. Lock the earth in your embrace, protect her every hour. Raise her now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Finland Mother's anchor here no deeper than the earth, protecting life upon our globe and reverent new birth. Dear Amazonian, a constant crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Power blows at your command, protecting every soul, energizing all with fury. Now we reach our goal, directly raising diamond substance, sealing us in grace. Thank you for causing mastery over time and space. Twindling bitters anchor here no deeper than the earth, protecting life upon our globe and reverent new birth. Dear Amazonian, a constant crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Hercules, defender of our right to walk with God, we bow before your presence as we will let him rod. Lock our souls in your embrace, protect us every hour. Raise us now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Twindling bitters anchor here no deeper than the earth, protecting life upon our globe and reverent new birth. Dear Amazonian, a constant crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Hercules, O Elohim of cosmic blue fire light, seal us now within your aura ever shining bright. Lock the earth in your embrace, protect her every hour. Raise her now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Twindling bitters anchor here no deeper than the earth, protecting life upon our globe and reverent new birth. Dear Amazonian, a constant crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Power flows at your command, protecting every soul, energizing all with fury. Now we reach our goal. Directly raise a diamond substance, sealing us in grace. Thank you for causing mastery over time and space. Twinkling bitters anchor here now deeper than the earth, protecting life upon our globe and reverent new birth. Dear Amazonian, a constant crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God and causing lightning sealed. Hercules, defender of our right to walk with God, we bow before your presence as we will with lightning rod. Lock our souls in your embrace, protect us every hour. Raise us now in holy radiance by your sacred power. Twinkling pillars anchor here now deep within the earth, protecting life upon our globe and reverent new birth. Dear Amazonian, council crystal diamond shield, defending every child of God in cosmic lightning sealed. In the fullness of your cosmic joy, we accept this prayer, manifest here and now, with full love, wisdom, and power, anchored in the earth, air, fire, water, and ether, and tangibly manifest in our lives, and in the lives of all evolutions of light throughout cosmos. Om Mani Padme Hum. So if any of you have recently had what has been called the flu, respiratory problems, problems with pneumonia or your lungs, breathing, know that it is very, very possible that this is a direct result of this action of the Dark Ones through chemtrails. And I think that we can have a special place on our website with how to deal with this issue from all levels, because this is a major issue on the earth right now. It is planetary wide, and it is absolutely satanic, as I said, and evil to the core. We have no fear about it. However, we take every measure we can to counteract it, to dissolve it, and to prevent ourselves from coming down with any diseases related to this situation. I was speaking with a health practitioner who treats me periodically, and she said that down in Paradise Valley at the ranch where she treats many people, over 40% of the staff there were sick recently, and they all had these flu-like symptoms. So you can see that it is really everywhere. As you'll see in this video clip that you can play later on your own, there are various areas where Philadelphia and Utah where people are just coming down with this, what they call now the chemtrail flu, and they're actually calling it that. So many people are awake to what is happening, and we require a grassroots movement to work through legislation if possible or other means to absolutely curtail this and to expose it to humanity. And of course, our primary work always is spiritual. So Because of our call to beloved Hercules, he is stepping forth with Amazonia, now on the earth, and sealing the entire earth and its atmosphere in this dome of light, which we can visualize as we give this call. This dome of light protects us from things outside of the earth, influences outside of the earth. However, in this case, this comes from upon the earth where these jets take off from a number of places and do their dirty work. So, in addition to the action of protecting everything within the dome from intrusions from outside, this dispensation also seals that which we visualize within the dome from intrusive forces from within. And this is a great dispensation of light which we can maintain and have reinforced as we give a call to Hercules 9 times each day. So I know that we've been giving the calls to Archangel Michael, the calls to beloved Godfrey, 10.020 in this election cycle. Now we have an additional blue flame prayer to give. So Claire Delis shared that we can eliminate the second meditation. For the time being, we can compress our exercise to 5 minutes during the broadcast. So I encourage us to simply, sometime during the broadcast, get up and stretch and move around and maybe compress that 15 minutes into 5 minutes that we've been doing the energization exercises, at least during the next 21 days. And then we'll see what happens when Hercules and Amazonia, as well as other masters, come to Yosemite and what dispensations they may also grant us. Playing the song that is Save the Elementals All is also important during this cycle. During that beautiful video that David created, you have the elementals creating this little dome of violet fire. And now we can visualize this dome around the world, over the areas where we live, and in a greater context than just a little dome over part of our gardens. This is going to have to be a massive dome of light. When you give that prayer and you sing that song and you watch the video, you can expand that visualization of that little dome that the elementals create to a much larger one. So within this page that we choose to add to our website of about chemtrails, with the two visualizations that we have been given of Archangel Michael dissolving the chemtrails, the one that Maria Min did, and then the one that was done by another heart friend, we can have what health practices we can engage in, substances that we can take in that directly either mollify or help prevent the effects of these toxins that are in the atmosphere. And what I was seeing as we gave this prayer was that for some of us, we may actually have to wear these masks, dust masks, outside on days that you notice there are chemtrails, and for a few days after them, because they take a while for them to come down to the earth. And once they do, they're just they're in the water, they're in the earth. You'll hear as you watch this video, farmers are talking about this aluminum that's affecting the soil where they grow crops, and that Monsanto has apparently developed something that plants that are resistant to aluminum. The absolute evil nature of this is so hard to conceive of, that human beings do this type of thing, that you know that it is really from beyond this world, from the realms of pure evil and the astral plane. So at times we do have to call a spade, even though we visualize perfection, we see the ideal, we hold the Immaculate Concept for everything. This is one of those days the Masters desire to bring this information to us. So what I like to do is give this service back to Kathleen, and you can sing to Beloved Hercules, the dynamic song by Robert Resitar in closing our session today, Hercules Descend. So God bless you, everyone. Thank you, and we'll talk again.